Music is not a genre. Music is not a genre, it's everything. What? Why? What do I mean by that? Well, this is easy for me because I've never not known music. I grew up with music. I was born into music. I first performed on stage as a singer before I was 2 years old. I wrote my first song that I can remember when I was 6 years old. I had my first recording studio experience when I was 8 years old. I had my first band when I was 10 years old. I recorded my first original song in a recording studio when I was 14 years old. And that's partly because I grew up with a dad who is and was a professional musician from the time that he was a child. And one of the interesting things to me about that experience growing up, especially in hindsight, but even then, really, was that my dad's sole way or main way of making a living was playing the nightclub circuit and the casinos and bars and restaurants and private parties and things like that. And one of the things he got very good at was playing whatever. Anything from opera to musical theater to pop to rock to country to jazz, you name it. And this is one guy with one instrument, piano. He used to play guitar, he doesn't now, and a drum machine, doing the entire show. There was a point at which he had memorized 2,000 songs. And so why does this matter? Well, I grew up understanding that a good song is a good song, that good music is good music. It doesn't matter where it comes from, what supposed style it is, what genre it's supposed to be. And as I started developing my own songwriting skills and writing my own songs and singing them and eventually producing them, I got my own my first home production rig when I was 17 years old, and all of that, which has never stopped. I really struggled because both the industry and a lot of people who consume music have very narrow views of what music is and or should be, and that's why genres and labels are used so often. But I think my main argument here is this: we are conditioned. But my main argument here is this: we are conditioned to accept and translate things in the way they're presented to us. So if the industry presents music to us as, this is a song that is rock, this is a song that is R&B, this is a song that is strictly hip hop or whatever it is, or jazz or country, then our brains say, oh, okay, we got to look for that. And so, if something fits in that category but is slightly off, no big deal. You're like, oh, it's quirky, it's different. If something doesn't easily fit into that category, harder to classify, unless you're the kind of person who's looking out for that stuff, then it's gonna make you feel weird. And I don't think it's because of you. I think it's because of how things are presented. I think it's because of the industry. I think it's because of this idea of genres and labels being so necessary. My whole contention with not just this site but everything I do, everything that's on this site, and honestly everything I've ever done, and including this recent project, which started out before I put anything on YouTube as music is not a genre, is that genres and labels are not just restrictive of how they define the music and or, let's say, some other form of art or even a person, but they actually affect our thinking. They affect the way we interpret these things. So part of my objective here is to bust that. And that's why I'm making this bold statement that music is not a genre. It is everything. Every piece of music, every single piece of music in the world is somehow connected. Give me two songs, whatever pieces of music, two works, and I can find a connection in there, whether it's a musical connection or some personal connection or a connection to something in the world that they both have. It's there because everything is connected in some way. And not only that, me saying that music is not a genre is everything. Well, yes, okay, so it's not one genre, it is everything. You can find a song, and even the song that's supposedly in the strictest, narrowest, definition of a genre is going to be out some part of that is going to be outside of that. But not only that, me saying music is everything is because it's everything to me. It's been everything to me since I was born. When I look at the world, when I listen to the world, when I get feedback from the world, there is always a part of me that is somehow interpreting that as music or through the lens of music, through the filter of music. It's that common thing where somebody says a phrase or even a single word, and a song immediately pops into my head based on what they said. Might have nothing to do with the context it was used, but that's impossible for me to avoid. There's so much of what I do, so much of where I go, whether I'm happy or sad or any of that stuff, that's to music. I go to music. This is not something, this things that I'm doing, I'm talking, I'm podcasting, I'm singing live, I'm recording myself, I'm recording with my band Rec, I'm recording with Catherine, I'm singing with Catherine, I'm doing so many different things on this site, which will continue to grow, and each week there'll be more and more, not just because I want to do it, it's because I have to do it. Because music is everything to me. So listen to what you can here on this site. Subscribe, learn to watch some videos and see that, especially in the podcast, I'm always ending each podcast with my objective is conversation and connection, other than to discuss music, other than the music itself. And that's because everything is connected. Music is somehow connected to you. There have been times where I've listened to a song in a genre, There have been times where I've listened to a song that I don't particularly like or never got into or maybe didn't know. There have been requests that I've taken, especially on some of the live concerts I've done online, where it's not something that I was particularly into, but I learned it because I wanted to connect with the person who requested it, and also because it's a challenge, and also because even if that's a song or a type of song that I don't like or I'm not into, it's not my my core heart songs. I can find a connection to it. I can find some way to connect, whether it's through the chord progression or the rhythm, which is huge, or the melody or some harmony or some tidbit or fact about a musician, the artist, the recording itself, or the time in which it came out, or there's some point of interest of connection that I can find in 100% of every piece of music. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm not trying to confine what I'm doing to just one specific thing. My specific thing is that music is everything.